you'll probably get a little notification if you're not used to the recording on Zoom that will say, just to warn you about it. So this is Action Network that I'm showing now. I'll just make it full screen. And what I'm viewing here is the management or backend page of a specific group. In this case, it's a group called Testing Group, but it would be whatever group you work with. So we've got like Bristol.Rosebank or Housing Action Teesside or Exile Leeds, or the other groups that I've forgotten the names of. And this has lots of different options, a few different buttons of changing some settings around on the groups. And it's got a load of tabs down here, and it's got a sidebar here with a load of different places to create actions. Of these tabs up here, I'm going to skip past and ignore most of them, because most of the time you don't have to deal with them, and just point out two. So there's one, Actions, which is a tab where you'll see all the long list of actions and pages, forms, petitions, events, things like that you could be able to access and manage, but also see the front facing page, the link that you can share around so other people can sign up. And this tab here, which is emails. So that's how you'd send out communication and where you'd see the list of emails that you've sent out through Action Network from whatever address that you use to your mailing list. Those are the two ones that you'll use most of the time. And you create all of the things like emails and actions on the right-hand side in this sidebar. And the first page you come to is the statistics one, which gives you an idea of how big your list and your group is, which is always kind of nice to look at, but doesn't do much more than that. So we're going to imagine this testing group is Housing Action Teesside, and that we're creating a petition to be distributed and signed around mold and damp. So we'll start with creating a sponsored action and then create petition. Creating an action on Action Network has 2 to 3 steps involved. In this case, it's got 2 steps. 1, what comes up on the page that you share around, and 2, what comes up once someone's filled the form out and they get a thank you message and some more details. We'll start with the front page. So this will be the content of the petition itself. And so let's start with the title of the petition. So I'm going to call it something generic to start with. It should say no to, how do you spell mold? Cool. Who would you be targeting with this petition? Evil Housing Association. And we've set it up specifically for Evil Housing Association Limited. And so this is the title here, is what would appear at the top of the page. This will be something along the lines of, this is a petition delivered to these people from whoever is filling out the form. And then this section here, why is it important? This is how we concisely summarize what Phil was talking about there, the issues in Teesside around mold and damp, an explainer about why you should sign. And this would be maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs. This wouldn't be the actual petition itself. It wouldn't be what you deliver to the targets, the demands. It would just be a bit of an explainer about what's going on. So it would be about mold and damp in Teesside or area of Teesside. Anyway, okay. So, and this would have a few paragraphs, right? So I'll just add 2 there. And then if we scroll down on this page, this is something specific to petitions, so you wouldn't see it on an event form or a form, just for when you're writing a petition. This is the actual text that you deliver to Evil Housing Association Limited. We're going to add some powerful language, but I can't do that, so I'm just going to say it's a powerful language, despite the fact. So this obviously would be a few more paragraphs, and you spend a bit of while going back and forth and checking what it's like, but we don't have time for that, so I'll just leave it as it is there. And then on the right-hand side of the petition, you can see kind of grayed out the standard fields that would be asked of people when they're filling it out. So it asks for their first name, their last name, their email address, and their postcode, which is pretty good as it goes. you may want to add a custom field. So let's say, so if you wanted to add a custom field and gather data in this form, just to work out who is signing it and if there's any specific people. So something I'm thinking of that might be is if you live in a house that's managed by Evil Housing Association Limited. So we'll ask that here. And what we'll do is we'll just add a checkbox. So I just clicked edit form there, and I'm going to add in an extra question with the custom field. So I'll click checkbox, and I'm going to drag it all the way over here. This takes a little bit of getting used to, this way of doing it, but I'm just going to show how you do this. So the name of this field is, what is it? We want to do I'm kind of making this up as I go. So, and then the checkbox you want to say is, I live in a property managed. And then I'm going to go to scroll down to the bottom and click save. So what I did there is, let me get rid of the label. Just created an extra field to the form. That means that when people fill out, they have the option to tick this box, which means that when you then look at the people who responded, you can see who actually lives in the properties managed by Evil Housing Association Limited. And I'm going to click save and preview now, which means that later down the line, if you want to have a look when you start to deliver the petition about who may be specifically to reach out to if you may be doing casework later, or you wanted to just check in with specific people, you could separate that out from people that generally think it's a bad thing and want to sign their name to it, and people who are being actually affected by this specific organization. And then this page now, we filled out everything on the left other than this banner image one, which we're going to leave for now. We filled out the petition content, and we've just fiddled around with the form to make sure we're gathering the data that we want when people sign the petition. So I think we're all set on this page now. So we can save step 1 of edit petition, go on to step 2, which is edit thank you. I'm going to click the big blue button in the bottom right, save, and go to next step to do that. Now, when we get to this second step, this is what people see, or words along this line is what people, these are the words that people see when they fill out the petition, they sign it, they click sign, and they're taken to a next page that says thank you. The message on this page, you can totally change what it says. So we could say, thank you, signing. Now you could change this one. The idea of this page is you're trying to encourage other people to share the petition around and get more people to sign. And it's going to be applied to petitions, but it can also be applied to events to try and get more people to sign up to it. It can be applied to forms that are generally just trying to gather information and get interested people. And the idea is you have some kind of language here that's relevant to the ask, that asks people to share it more. And yeah, 5 to sign. So just change that around slightly. And now on this page, you can add lots of custom content here. If you wanted to give lots more information, or like links to different places, help pages, or places where people can get immediate support, you could do that. But it's optional, and you can just leave it blank too. And then on the right-hand side here, you have what's called the sharing options. So that's once you get to the end of the action, there'll be a couple of buttons, one that says share to Facebook and one that says tweet, which allow you to share the action to Twitter.
Hopefully we'll get them back in a sec.
Go in and edit sharing options and then check it.
Joe, we lost you again. The same thing happened.
Yeah, very strange. I'm supposed to be on better internet connection here. So I was just I was just giving a bit of a preamble to going in and editing the sharing options. So I might just do that now and then talk it through slowly. So click edit sharing options. And this section here has three titles to it. So the first one's Facebook, Twitter, and then the last one email. It's where you edit the content that people see when they share this in different places. So when you share this link on Facebook or on WhatsApp or Signal or Slack or whatever platform you use, the link comes up with a bit of a preview with an image, a title, and a description. You can customize what this looks like here. So at the moment it says, say no to damp and mold. You can change this around if you feel like it, and you can make the description more snappy. This might end up being really long, so you do want to reduce it down to a couple of sentences maximum. And then this section, so that's how the link is shared in external places, and I'm happy with what it looks like. It doesn't look very good, but that's because I can't think of what to write in there at the moment. And then the next section here, I'm just going to add an extra line, and this is an example tweet, and you ignore this line with all this complicated link, with all this stuff on it, and just have a look. And here, I'm going to change it to something like that. So yeah, this is some slightly more, a sentence that makes a bit more sense to try and encourage people to go. And you can always add hashtags too. So let's just say, remember how many S's T-side has. Anyway, and then this last section, like I said, was email a friend. So this is some copy and paste text that you get given as something you can just really quickly copy into an email and send to someone else. It's got some standard body in it, so just a bit of text that people can copy and paste. I'm happy with how it looks, but it's worth just checking through to make sure it makes sense. And it's the kind of thing you'd want people just to copy and paste and put somewhere else. And then there's the direct link, and that's just leave that be. So I'm going to click save and close. And that means it's updated the sharing options, which is the last step before you publish the petition. So I'm now going to click on the bottom right-hand corner, save and publish, which should take me to the page where I can manage the petition itself. I click save and publish. So this page we've got to here is what you can only see as an admin of the petition or an admin of whatever action you're using. So that could be events, it could be letter campaigns. And it's where you can see who has signed it, and you can download them and you can print them off and you can deliver them to the target. It's where you can edit the email that people get when they fill it out. It's where you can edit those sharing and tracking settings. And you can get some guidance as well about what the next step to do once you've done your petition. Never really read through this, but it may be helpful. There's also a sponsors tab. If you had two organizations that both were sharing this petition, let's say Housing Action Teesside and some other local group, you could have a co-sponsor, so you'd both get signatures from the petition, either proportional or everyone gets everything. But we'll ignore that for now because we'll skip past it. The main thing about this page that's quite important for absorbing people into the group, so they've got a next thing to do, is this responses tab. It's just got a helpful little orange dot if you haven't changed it. And in the responses tab, this is where you manage the email that people get sent to their inbox after they filled out the petition. And at the moment, it's something quite generic. So you can see here that all the different fields for the email. So it's subject, thanks for signing, very generic. From the name of the group, which is just test group. And the reply to your email is info@email.actionnetwork.org. And really, you want people to be able to reply to your email for your group so they can keep the conversation. If they've got questions, they can stay in contact. So I'll change this, because it's the only email I can remember, to my email address, and change group to yeses. What a mystery. Anyway, customizing it slightly so people actually read it and they feel like it's relevant when they see it in their inbox. And then this last bit is this body of the email. I'm just going to step by step talk why it looks so weird, because it really does. So this email, so the body of the email that's going to be sent to people, has these curly brackets, which are 2 curly brackets together around a lot of the bits in it. So you've got curly brackets there, curly brackets there, curly brackets there. And what this says to Action Network is this email is a template. It's one that you copy and paste for each person that gets it, and you fill it out with stuff that's relevant to them. So in this first bit, what this bit in curly brackets says is replace it with the first name of the person who filled it out. And if you don't have their first name, just call them friend. So if I filled it out and I didn't put my first name down, I get an email saying friend. And if I had put my name down, then it would say Joe at the start. This is just a sentence. There's nothing special about it, and you can edit it as you want. So I'll leave it be, but you might want to add, let's say we have an open meeting at this date in this place. You could add a note there about it, so people have something to, the next step to do. It's like that key point, being able to absorb more people into the group. And then this bit in curly brackets here says replace it with the 2 links, the Facebook and the Twitter share links, so people can share the petition. And then this bit in curly brackets is the direct link to the petition, which you can find up here. That's the public link that anyone can see. And then right at the bottom is all of that email that we looked through in the sharing settings. That's inserted at the bottom in these curly brackets, so that gets replaced with the email share. And I'll just save and send test email. Click this button. Here's the email that I just drafted, and you can see it doesn't have any of the curly brackets anymore. It's all replaced by all that stuff that I described. So it starts with Joe, because that's my name. And then it's got these bits, which used to be called action share. It's got this bit, which is the direct link to the petition. Oops. And at the bottom, it's got this email template that people could use. So that's, I've just talked through there is the basics of creating an Action Network and what it's like to manage one, and kind of gone through the start to finish all of the bits that you might do to make sure it's set up so when people fill it out, they've got a next step to come along to, and that it's all kind of makes sense for people, and you've set it up in the best way to absorb people into your group and make sure they've got the next step to go to afterwards, so that they stay engaged and they come along to the stuff that you're running. I guess lastly, just before we kind of tail off this section, is I'm just flipping to this tab, and this is what it looks like when you share it anywhere and you share it to people who don't have to sign in to see it. This is a public page that people can see with the petition on. And you can see on the left, here's the stuff that we filled out. So we've got the title of it, we've got the target, we've got the information about it. And then you scroll down a bit, we've got the actual text of the petition with the to and from at the top. And that from is always customized to whoever's filling out the form. And on the right-hand side, we have the fields of the form that people can fill out. You might notice that it's got this box here that says, welcome back, Joe. That's because I'm signed in. So it knows my email, my first name, my last name. So it's making sure I don't have to enter it in twice. But if I click here, you can see the full petition as most people would see it, which is first name, last name, email, and then postcode. And then this tick box that we added that adds a custom field. I'll just fill out this. Yeah. I'm going to say I want to opt into updates from test groups. So this is what we were talking about earlier with GDPR and privacy. So there's always, this is added automatically and you can't get rid of it. A question at the bottom that says, yes, I'd like to get email updates, and different networks will have different stuff. I think the For example, I'm just remembering that the Extinction Rebellion Action Network is set up slightly differently, but it will have something like this. And then you click add your name at the bottom, which takes you to that thank you page that we got. And this has got all of the things that we added. Thank you for signing. Can you spread the word to 5 more people? And it's got these links here to share to Facebook and share to Twitter. And it takes you straight to Twitter with a pre-filled tweet, or X now. And this one takes you to Facebook with a link ready to share, as well as this email section for sharing. That's